Hello ladies and welcome to the channel. The most dangerous woman of all is the one who cannot be controlled. Unknown. When it comes to manipulation, few tactics are as insidious as gaslighting, a psychological game meant to twist your reality and erode your sense of self. But not everyone is susceptible to such dark strategies. Enter the Sigma female, an enigma, elusive and fiercely independent, with a mind impenetrable to the tricks of gaslighters. She isn't just hard to manipulate, she's a force that dismantles manipulation at its core. In a world where gaslighters thrive on emotional chaos, confusion, and control, the Sigma female stands as an unmovable pillar, armed with silent strength and an unmatched mental clarity. How does she do it? How does she render these manipulators powerless time and again? Keep reading as we dive into the 8 extraordinary ways Sigma females obliterate even the most cunning gaslighters. No drama, no fear, just pure power. Number 1. Validation is useless currency to them. Gaslighters thrive on control, and their main weapon is making you doubt yourself, constantly seeking their approval or validation. But a Sigma female? She doesn't need anyone's stamp of approval to know who she is or what she's worth. Validation is something she gives herself, and because of this, gaslighting simply doesn't work. The gaslighter's entire tactic relies on creating confusion and insecurity. But when faced with someone who isn't looking for external reassurance, the manipulation falls flat. The Sigma female's self-confidence is a fortress built from within, solid, unwavering, and untouchable. Gaslighters try to plant seeds of doubt, but they can't take root in a mind that doesn't depend on their approval to grow. Instead, those manipulative words bounce off her, leaving the gaslighter scrambling to regain footing. The harder they push, the more futile their efforts become, because she's not playing the game. She doesn't need to. Her sense of self isn't tethered to anyone else's opinions or twisted narratives. This disconnection from the need for validation leaves gaslighters powerless. They can't manipulate someone who doesn't care what they think. In the end, they're left grasping at straws, unable to twist her reality, while she stands unbothered, fully aware of the empty game they're trying to play. Number 2. Unspoken confidence, the ultimate shield. Silent confidence is one of the most unnerving traits a Sigma female possesses. While most people need to prove themselves through words or actions, the Sigma female doesn't say much. She doesn't have to. Her confidence is quiet, yet unshakable, and this alone is enough to throw a gaslighter off balance. Gaslighters rely on reading emotions, reactions, and insecurities, but when faced with someone who doesn't show vulnerability or doubt, their manipulative tactics crumble. Her stillness is her strength. The gaslighter might try to provoke a response, sow confusion, or create drama, but she remains unmoved, completely unfazed by the chaos. That calm, almost stoic demeanor isn't indifference, it's control. She knows exactly who she is, and nothing can shake that foundation. It's not that she doesn't feel emotions. She just doesn't let them dictate her behavior or allow others to weaponize them against her. This quiet strength is intimidating. The gaslighter, used to exploiting cracks in people's confidence, finds none to exploit here. Every attempt to rattle her is met with silence, a kind of unspoken resistance that only deepens their frustration. They thrive on emotional instability, but with the Sigma female there's nothing to grab onto. She's like a wall they can't climb, and the harder they try, the more obvious it becomes that they're outmatched. This silent, unshakable confidence is their undoing, leaving them powerless in the presence of someone they simply cannot manipulate. Number 3. Mind games crash into a mental fortress. Gaslighters rely on mind games, subtle manipulations, twisting words, making their target doubt their own thoughts and feelings. But with a Sigma female, those tricks hit a dead end. Her mind is like a steel trap, sharp, focused, and nearly impossible to outsmart. Gaslighters are used to creating confusion, but a Sigma sees through it all with a clarity that most people can only aspire to. Her mental discipline makes it incredibly difficult for anyone to manipulate her thoughts or distort her reality. She's not easily distracted or misled. While others may get caught up in emotional spirals or second-guess themselves under pressure, the Sigma stays grounded. She processes information quickly, spotting inconsistencies before they can take root. A gaslighter's attempts to distort facts or rewrite history are met with cold logic and an unflinching memory. Nothing slips past her, and every attempt to pull her into a web of deceit is methodically untangled. The gaslighter, who depends on chaos and confusion, quickly finds themselves outmatched. They may try to spin the conversation, twist the truth, or play the victim. But the Sigma female remains one step ahead, calmly dismantling their strategy without even breaking a sweat. It's not just that she doesn't fall for their tricks, it's that she disarms them so completely they're left with nothing. No foothold, no leverage. Gaslighting only works on those who question their own reality, but the Sigma female's mind is too strong for that. She's not just hard to manipulate, she's practically untouchable. Number 4, psychological Aikido, flipping manipulation on its head. A Sigma female doesn't fight manipulation head-on. She uses the manipulator's own tactics against them in a way that's almost effortless. This is psychological Aikido, where instead of resisting, she redirects the gaslighter's energy and turns their own games into their downfall. A gaslighter expects confrontation or confusion, but a Sigma female sidesteps both. She doesn't argue or engage in endless back and forths. Instead, she quietly observes, waits, and then uses their own manipulations to expose them. When a gaslighter tries to distort reality, she lets them walk into their own lies. She may even play along just enough for them to get comfortable, thinking they're in control. But it's a trap. The more they manipulate, the more tangled they become because the Sigma is always a few steps ahead. By allowing them to overextend themselves, she forces the gaslighter into a corner where their contradictions and deceit can no longer be hidden. The beauty of this approach is in its subtlety. The gaslighter doesn't even realize they've lost control until it's too late. The Sigma female never raises her voice or becomes reactive. She simply lets the gaslighter trip over their own dishonesty. This tactic is disarming because it flips the script. The gaslighter expects to be the one in control, but suddenly, they're the ones being played, and by their own methods. Without a single outburst or emotional reaction, the Sigma leaves them exposed and powerless, unraveling their manipulation without them even realizing it. Number 5. Forcing the mask to slip. A gaslighter thrives on hiding their true nature behind charm and manipulation, constantly shifting blame and making others doubt what's real. But a Sigma female sees right through this facade and has no problem exposing what's underneath. She doesn't get swept up in their mind games or emotional manipulations. Instead, she calmly picks apart their behavior, pointing out inconsistencies, lies, and patterns in a way that forces the gaslighter's true colors to surface. It's not that she's confrontational, she doesn't need to be. Her ability to stay grounded and rational in the face of manipulation is what makes her so dangerous to a gaslighter. They count on their target becoming confused or defensive, but the Sigma doesn't take the bait. Instead, she dissects their actions with such precision that the gaslighter can't hide anymore. The more they try to twist the narrative, the more obvious it becomes that they're the one in the wrong. She forces them into the light, the subtle jabs, the emotional manipulation, the gaslighter's attempts to paint themselves as the victim. All of it is methodically exposed for what it really is. And because the Sigma female isn't playing along or getting caught up in the drama, there's no way for the gaslighter to spin the situation in their favor. The mask slips, and suddenly their manipulation tactics are laid bare for everyone to see. The power shift is undeniable. The gaslighter, who once had control over the narrative, is left scrambling, exposed for who they really are. And once the Sigma female pulls back the curtain, there's no going back. Their true nature is revealed, and the gaslighter's ability to manipulate anyone moving forward is severely weakened. Number 6. Boundaries as a weapon, not a shield. Boundaries for most people are about protection, but for a Sigma female, they're a weapon she wields with precision. She doesn't just set boundaries, she enforces them like a master strategist, turning them into a line gaslighters simply can't cross. For a gaslighter, boundaries are frustrating obstacles, but when they face a Sigma female, those boundaries become an impenetrable wall that completely shuts down their manipulation. She doesn't give second chances when it comes to her limits. Gaslighters usually test the waters, subtly pushing against boundaries to see how far they can go. But a Sigma female quickly shuts that down. There's no negotiation, no bending. Her boundaries are firm, and once crossed, she cuts off access with a swiftness that leaves the gaslighter powerless. What makes her so formidable is that she doesn't need to explain or justify her decisions. She doesn't get drawn into emotional pleas or excuses. She simply enforces her limits without hesitation. This control over her personal space and emotional energy means a gaslighter can't manipulate her through guilt or obligation. They rely on breaking people down by wearing them out over time, slowly eroding their defenses. But with a Sigma, there's no slow erosion. She puts up a clear line and dares anyone to cross it. And when they do, she doesn't react with anger or emotion. She simply removes herself, cuts off access, and moves on, leaving the gaslighter standing there with nothing left to manipulate. This kind of boundary enforcement isn't just protection, it's power. The gaslighter quickly realizes they have no way in, no leverage to exploit. The usual tactics of pushing emotional buttons or sowing doubt don't work because the Sigma female has already drawn the line. When boundaries become a weapon like this, the gaslighter is left completely defeated, unable to play their usual games. Number 7. Indifference that cuts like a blade. Indifference is one of the most devastating tools a Sigma female has in her arsenal. Gaslighters feed off emotional reactions. Whether it's anger, sadness, or confusion, they thrive when they can get inside someone's head and stir things up. But when faced with a Sigma female's indifference, they're left grasping at thin air. She doesn't give them the satisfaction of a response, and that lack of engagement is what completely disarms them. A Sigma doesn't waste her energy on someone trying to manipulate her. Where most people might be drawn into arguments or feel the need to defend themselves, she remains calm, uninterested in the drama. It's not that she doesn't recognize what's happening, she just doesn't care enough to give it attention. This cold, almost detached approach sends a powerful message. The gaslighter's efforts are irrelevant to her. They simply don't matter. For a gaslighter, this is pure frustration. Their entire tactic relies on getting a reaction, on pulling someone into their web of manipulation. But when they're met with a wall of indifference, there's nowhere for them to go. The Sigma female's refusal to engage is like a mirror, reflecting their powerlessness back at them. No matter what they do, she remains unbothered, maintaining control over her emotions and the situation. This indifference doesn't just frustrate the gaslighter, it crushes their sense of control. They're used to pulling strings and getting reactions, but with a Sigma, those strings lead nowhere. She's not invested in their games, and her ability to remain detached makes the gaslighter's efforts feel small and insignificant. In the end, they're left with nothing, completely deflated by someone who simply doesn't care enough to play along. Number 8. Walking away is their master stroke. When a Sigma female decides to walk away, she does it without hesitation, and that is her ultimate power. Gaslighters thrive on keeping people emotionally hooked, relying on their targets to stick around and continue playing into their manipulation. But a Sigma female doesn't give them that luxury. She knows her worth, and when she sees the manipulation for what it is, she's out. No second chances, no lingering doubts. The strength of a Sigma female lies in her ability to detach completely and walk away as if nothing ever happened. There's no emotional fallout, no endless wondering if she made the right choice. Once she sees through the gaslighter's tactics, she cuts the cord without a backward glance. This kind of decisiveness is what gaslighters fear the most, because it strips away their power. They depend on emotional dependency. But the Sigma isn't emotionally tethered to anyone, especially not someone trying to manipulate her. This ability to walk away isn't about being cold or unfeeling, it's about self-respect. The Sigma female refuses to waste her time or energy on someone who doesn't value her or tries to control her. She's perfectly fine moving forward alone, if that's what it takes. Her life isn't defined by others, and she doesn't stick around hoping for change or closure. The moment she recognizes manipulation, she pulls the plug, leaving the gaslighter powerless and scrambling. There's nothing more devastating to a gaslighter than being cut off completely, with no chance to manipulate or regain control. The Sigma female's exit is a clear signal that their games no longer work, and the gaslighter is left behind, confused and defeated. In a world where so many people cling to toxic relationships, a Sigma female's ability to walk away without a second thought is not only rare, it's unstoppable. In a world where gaslighting thrives on confusion, insecurity, and emotional manipulation, Sigma females stand out as unshakable forces of clarity and strength. Their unique approach, ranging from silent confidence to strategic indifference, transforms the typical dynamics of manipulation, leaving gaslighters powerless and exposed. If you found these insights compelling and want to explore more about how to navigate and overcome manipulation with the same level of mastery, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more strategies, insights, and empowering content that can help you take control of your own narrative. In a world where gaslighting thrives on confusion and manipulation, Sigma females turn the tables with their unshakable strength. For more insights and strategies to empower yourself, be sure to subscribe to our channel.